Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for October the 4th through the 10th, 2021. So before we begin, I'd just like to welcome everyone back this week and welcome everyone who might be new to the Angel School community. And so as we begin this first full week in October, I'm just going to, just before we begin, just make you aware of my special offer, Angel Reading. It is available for this month of October. My half-hour reading for $77 has been extended to 1 full hour. So if you would like to get an angel reading with me and you feel called to do so, then you can go to my webpage, theangelschool.com/services page, and you would just select the half-hour reading as is. And the link for this you should find below this video for my web page, theangelschool.com. And once you submit your payment within 24 hours on the first business day, I will send you a confirmation email noting the special offer. And everything else you need to set the appointment is indicated in the email. So you have to do is just follow those instructions. I usually ask for 3 weeks of your availability from the time or the day that I indicate the starting date. Okay, so just be aware of that. And also, because we are in a Mercury retrograde as of the beginning of last week, I think the 27th or the 28th, I just want to make sure that any communications with me, that when you get the email, please respond and let me know that you received it right away, so that I'll know that it got to you. And also, you don't have to worry about getting the dates to me, but just confirm that you got it, okay? And this week as well, I will be getting out the monthly angel reading, and which is new, so it'll be the second one, as well as the monthly angel scopes for all 12 zodiac signs. So keep a lookout for that. In this month, I'm probably also going to share with you some videos about some of the decks that I've been working with personally, and how that's been really helpful for me. I will also try to, I don't know if I'm going to do it in a live chat or not, but also my daily readings, practice style, how I do it, as well as I do one for the month, for the week, and for the day, each day, and how I keep track of it. So don't know if I'm gonna do it in a video or if I'm gonna do it in a live chat, but sometime this month I should have time to get around to it, especially my the oracle decks that I've been working with as well, the Angel Guide and the Oracle of Mary by Alana Fairchild, and Doreen Virtue's deck, which probably is out of print now, the Mary, Queen of the Angels. So that has been the work I've been doing with Mary the last month was incredibly impactful on my life. So I want to share some of these things with you that have been tools that have been helpful. Okay, so let's take a deep breath together now. And as always, when you breathe, place your attention to your heart chakra. And just be aware of the energy of your chakra, your heart chakra, and feel it just blossoming, opening up as you direct your attention there. And these are your wings of your heart chakra. And allow them to open and expand. And just as you feel the love pouring out to you and surrounding you, and reaching out to everyone in any situation in your life that is coming to your mind, and that where you're looking for some kind of resolution. And the first thing they're showing me is a tree that's sort of like an umbrella. So this tells me the trunk obviously is very thin because it's like an umbrella. And the meaning for this, for me, universally, is that you're safe. Okay, and they want you to know that they have you covered. And this is so that you can let go and really let love be present in your life. And they're writing the word blurry so that there is some kind of confusion or something that is not clear. There's something that you wish to see, but you can't see it. And they're showing me sort of the feet of an elephant, but it almost looks human-like. I want to feel the sense of Lord Ganesh coming through. And there's a feeling of cutting through some obstacles and support and blessings coming through. That feeling of him opening a path. But the feet, the elephant feet, were very decorative. I can't see it in color, but I can sense almost, some kind of red or almost, I'm not good with name colors, but maybe more a magenta or pink, some pink around that area, sort of more magenta pink like, and gold. And it just seems to bring in these blessings here. And I don't know why he's writing the word English. And it's something about messages and energy. And I just feel like he wants you to know, even if you haven't worked with him in the past, that, and I know we all know this, but that's the only reason I can think. He just wants you to know that, he can communicate with you across cultures and language, especially as energy. And so just be aware of his energy as he steps in to clear the obstacles on your path and to bless you. So whatever it is that you don't feel, and to bless that path and to bless that interaction. So you can call upon him to sort of invite him in to bless and to clear all the obstacles in the room of a meeting or negotiations or mediation, if it's a relationship mediation, whatever you need in that regard. And I'm seeing angel wings surrounding you. And they want you to know when things are a little off. They're writing the word syncopation, which in music means an offbeat. When things are off, it's almost like that syncopation. Most pop music is syncopated. It's what makes music dance like. And so life can be off, but if we could see the cosmic dance of the syncopated rhythms, that your life seems to be fallen into that particular pattern where everything seems like it's off, like you're kind of missing, you're not arriving at the right time, or you're missing opportunities, that the universe is trying to help you to dance, to loosen up, and to get you where you need, where you most deserve. And so it's sort of like you have to enjoy, even though sometimes things seem to be very challenging, and and so difficult to to keep your faith, and to have confidence, the word they're writing right now, in the changes that are unfolding. But they want you to know when things are in that syncopated way, that you're going through a profound change of life. And that change of life, that process is safe. Because even although it may feel chaotic to you, but it's what needs to happen in order to throw you off that pattern or that other habit that seems secure, but is actually holding you back. And they're trying to help you to behold other opportunities by distracting and throwing off that pattern, that comfort level, that pattern that you're used to. And it's there's word self. So this is something very profound within the self that is shifting, but we don't let go easily. We want to know the reasons why. We want to know what's going to happen. We don't want to know how it's going to play out. And if we did, we would just lean on those patterns instead of going with the flow. It sounds cliche, but this is what is really necessary when you feel like you're in this syncopated lifestyle. Now they're writing the word power. And so what's really important for you to do is not to try to gain control, power over the circumstances that are unfolding to provoke the change in your life. But they want you to get centered in your power, the power of love. And that means that anything that helps you to center, dancing, music, drawing, craft, whatever hobby, gardening, whatever it is that you do, writing, that it just centers you. It helps the world to slow down. It helps your mind to focus on something specific and to give you a sense of rest and rejuvenation during that time. This is what they really want you to carve out time for, this more in your schedule. Because when you come out of that time frame, of that sacred time frame, you will be more intuitively in sync with the flow of the universe and this pattern that they are using to help you find realignment with your divine life purpose, your divine blueprint, and your higher self. So let's take another deep breath. And comes up is a mushroom, which is my symbol for either fairies and abundance. And so, um, right before that, I felt like the tree I was seeing, it was like it went thin and then it went wide. And so there's a bit of wavering. And this process that they're taking you through is actually helping to manifest the abundance that you need in whatever area of your life where it has been lacking. And you will initiate this by finding that spiritual practice, like those activities that we just mentioned. Exercise could be that for some people. Okay? It could be your diet as well. Eating healthily and taking the time to prepare your own food and being present with that practice of cooking relaxes you. Then and eating healthy, all of this centers you. And it centers you in the way that you need, so that you'll feel naturally in sync with the rhythm of the changes that are unfolding for you. Now, they were mentioning before we started that something in September has unfolded for you. And they kept writing the word empath and empathic. So something set up that dynamic for you. And so you might find that you're having more empathic experiences, and that you're more sensitive and more in tune. And this allows you to be, they're writing the word expression or expressive. So this allows you to be more expressive. Notice in the ways that you might have felt repressed in some ways. And now there's sort of a new liberation. But it's in the way that you express yourself through particular things that you do. All right. It almost is more enriched and more connected. Let's take a look at the Archangel that we'll be working with from the Archangel Oracle. And it's Archangel Chamuel. And this is the card Peace. Let me make sure we have a little focus there. And it says, peace comes from remembering that only love is real. And this is going to be so important in this month as well, because they were just talking about that power, the power of love. And we keep trying to exercise strength, authority over another. We keep, the other morning, they were actually telling me that sanity, the kind of sanity that we prize, is actually really true insanity, because we can't really, there's judgment. The ego uses that, and it comes from a place of judgment. And when things, aren't going the way we want them to, when the order that we need to feel safe, the order we need to feel like we're in control of our lives, the order that we need to feel like we're succeeding in life. Life is quite insane from the beginning to the end and everywhere in between, because the one thing that our ego hates is change. And that is all that every aspect of life is always doing. It's always changing. And the ego would seek to dominate that, to bring things to a halt. And that is why our ego is kind of known as our saboteur because it is always interrupting progress, the movement forward. And we feel held back. And it happens through emotional memories, triggers that just all of a sudden just strip us of that power in a flash. And we become immobilized because of fear. And our ego's definition of sanity is stagnation, security, always having the known around you, never having to, or always having certainty. And this is just not the way our universe is designed. So to the ego and to us, because we're so deeply integrated with this, the universe in its straightforward form is pure insanity. And the universe has to constantly navigate our concept of sanity with insanity, like these syncopated, offbeat sort of patterns that disrupt patterns that are really usurping our power of love. And they're causing us to become attached to patterns of security, which underneath is thriving on the concept of fear. It's being fed by fear. Because we want, but when we ask and it is given, what is given to us is outside of our expectation. It's off the pattern of what we are already comfortable in. And then we resist because we're trying to hang on to security, control, order, instead of going with the divine order. Yes, it most time makes no sense. And we have to talk about getting off of a pattern. We have to get out of our conscious awareness and dive into our subconscious, to the murky waters of our subconscious. And, in order to capture pieces of our truth or the enlightenment, around those illusions and triggers that have been creating a different kind of conversation from what you are asking for. So therefore, you're constantly sabotaging yourself because of those emotional triggers. And one of the things is that our gut always gives us sound advice, but we are always questioning our gut. And that would be just a deep, that you talk about the magician's curtain, but to see behind the curtain, to see what actually makes up the trick of all of that, would just be too complicated to explain right now. So the only way to have true peace, Archangel Chamuel's name means he who sees God. Okay? And so he sees through the eyes of God, or sees like God, in the sense that he sees the divine order. And what we have to learn to do is to also see divine order, which is not the security of order that your insanity that your ego understands and only wants to see. And so what we need to be trying to, in search of power, we need to rely and develop the power of love. And the activities that put you in the zone, they inspire love and gratitude and appreciation of your spiritual gifts. Your spiritual joy and your potential of expression is insanity to the ego. Because it doesn't need truly anything outside of itself to be able to play. It doesn't need that order. What it needs is the freedom to evolve. And we're on a path of evolution. And to the ego, an ascension, to the ego, that's insanity. Because it's all change. Nothing's staying the same. And that's why the wheel of karma was developed, and why we have to keep repeating things over and over again in order to grow, because of the ego. But we don't need that wheel of karma any longer to evolve. Okay, so let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. And we could go on, and there's probably way too much more to say about that. But we're going to just have to accept the insanity of, in a way, of divine order. We're not going to understand everything, but we will understand what we need if we just surrender to the guidance within and to the path that is before us. Despite whether or not we like it or not, we have to surrender to the path that is before us, embrace it, let it teach us, let it disrupt and help us to ascend, to grow. All right, so the card that we have for the beginning of the week, and it's interesting because I kept talking about empathic, the Queen of Cups. And, there's all these pinks and these light green colors here. So this is very much, there's a lot of love frequency. Archangel Chamuel's light is a very pale pink, okay, which is the fifth dimensional heart chakra, is that color. So, and you can still have in your heart chakra, depending on where your heart chakra is, in what stage your heart chakra is evolving in the fifth dimensional chakra, you can still have this green and pink and white. At the center, it's the most evolved state is barely, is white-ish, pink whitish, barely noticeable, mostly white, and just sort of hints of pink running throughout it. This almost gives it like a shading of pink. And so with the Queen of Cups, you see she's just looking right at us. Although she's looking in another direction, she's moving to the left, almost as if to be moving towards the past, but she's looking right at you. She's on a journey, but she's able to, something caught her attention. And it feels like that what we have to do, that we might be just in this week, sort of, going in one direction, and then something draws your attention. And the Queen of Cups is usually someone who's very family oriented. So it's like that Cancer energy. And, we often talk about this as the sacrifices that she makes, but she actually really enjoys her family and the care and love of her family. So she's also one who's known or is recognized for self-care, okay? And so the thing is that we have to be open to and aware when it's our time, right? And that's what I feel like here. There's a sense of me time here, and something captivates her attention. She's busily, you know, moving in one direction, caring for those she loves, and yet something seems to grab her attention. And so the idea I feel like here is that you want to make time for sacred space, for matters, things that matter to your heart. And it feels like your heart will be calling out to you. Um, and it might, I'm seeing the word, might challenge you to sort of step out of your role in a way. And but you're gonna find that you're gonna have a sense of agreement within. And this, the writing yes, and this can be very scary, because again, you have plans and you have your routines and everything is sort of, you have it down pack, right? And you know what you're supposed to be doing, et cetera, et cetera. But this thing calls you off of all of that. And just be aware that there's an opportunity in that for you. And to really open your heart to this opportunity for yourself is what I'm feeling this week. Wow, and we have the moon card. So we're really getting a sense of this empathic. So, you know, so we need to really pay attention to sort of the cycles of the moon and the energy, and pay attention to your own emotional waters. What's emerging for you in this week? And so it feels like something is going to catch you off guard a bit. Something's going to surface. With the moon card, you see usually the crab emerging from the waters or the pool of water there. And so something from the subconscious kind of comes up. And that's why you're going to really need this me time this week. And this is to draw you to your true source of power. And this is where you do have control. You have control over what you allow to be in your life, whether you allow drama or whether you allow peace. And many times we get caught up, like the Queen of Cups, we get caught up in everybody else's drama. And that's because we're avoiding our own. And we have to be aware that sometimes people haven't done their work. They're not ready to change. And they haven't really started to do the work that they're being called to do. And so when you get involved, the drama just intensifies. And they're saying that this is going to be sort of a very dramatic week. This word high weather. I feel like emotionally, the weather is going to be a bit intense. So people are going to be, in terms of energy, very sensitive, and emotionally sensitive, and it might overwhelm. So therefore, it might compound issues that are already existing, and sort of just exacerbate those and create new ones. The new ones are, you really shouldn't give them any power or attention, because they're masking, the ego is just masking the core issue. And so you don't want to avoid the core issues. So whatever you're going through emotionally this week, you might want to make sure that you take the time to really do some self-care. Okay? Really take care of yourself. You know, don't put yourself out there in other people's energy. You can feel it in your gut. But here's the thing that you need to be aware of. If you don't have a clear intention for yourself each day, when you start with an intention, then you can really organize a schedule for yourself. But it's one thing to just, say, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. But without an intention, you are not present when you're doing all those things. So for instance, let's just take our keyword here, peace. And everything that let's say for that day you decide, okay, my intention is to have peace in my life, to not overextend myself. So what would be the things that would disrupt that peace? And you have to think about this. Once you have set an intention, then think about the things that might challenge you from and disrupt that intention. Then be aware of what that is. Journal these things so that now when you go through your day, see what happens is once you have clarity, once you have a clear intention, then all the opportunities that you're looking for out of that intention are visible because now they're clear to you. And now you're aware of, you have these guideposts of what to recognize as you go throughout the day. And if one of the guideposts from the challenges appear, you know to avoid them and or how to deal with them appropriately in a way that honors the integrity of your intention. Peace. Don't go through your day without having an intention. Intentions are things like peace or abundance. You may want to recognize abundance. You might want to do a day, so you might choose gratitude. But note, what are the challenges that keeps you from feeling abundant? Those patterns in your life that creep up. Okay? And so this week I feel like this is an exercise for you to discover the power of love through this intention setting and being aware of the challenges, the things that cross you, that cause you that disrupt that intention, so that you will find harmony in your emotions, in your emotional guidance system. All right. Almost literally showing us how to create the intention of peace and how to work with our emotions. Again, the thing is that this is a year of integrity. This is, so that means the ascension process has intensified everything, raised the vibration, is opening us up to a whole other level of consciousness and awareness. And so what this is going to do is it's like letting in more light in a room that was dark or a room that was dimly lit. Now the room is going to be brightly lit, and it's bringing in this golden consciousness and the Christ consciousness. And so therefore there's nothing that you cannot be aware of within yourself or within others. And if we'll struggle with that power by the ego resisting it and making more out of it. So, instead of being empathic, you'll end up just being sensitive as in irritated or anxious, like anxiety. And all of these things, frustration, confusion, are signs that you are you're out of sync, but you're not going with the flow. You're resisting the change of life. And we're going, an ascension process is a change of life. And this has been always in place. But what we've been able to do in the past is get on the off the path of ascension or evolution and get on the wheel of karma and keep cycling those problems over and over again, no changes, and then you get upset about it and you beat up yourself about it and you get stuck on it even further. You get another lesson you got to work through, because every time you don't listen to the truth of your soul about who you truly are, and you listen to the lie, you create another problem. Every time you believe less or have less faith or confidence in your divinity, you create another issue, another karmic issue that has to be unlearned and then resolved and then go through the whole process. Okay? So here we have the Two of Swords. And this is saying here that this energy is kind of making you feel like you're between a rock and a hard place. Because you can't get away from your emotions now. There's no numbing. And we've done that in the past. That's why, substances and all kinds of actions and activities we've used to suppress our divine guidance in the form of energy that will come across as anxiety or irritation or fear or frustration or paranoia. And so we didn't want to deal with it. We didn't want to look at what was popping up. We want to be busy helping other people, being spiritual and helping everybody else, and just ignoring our cry for help. And so this is the choices that you're going to have to make as you wrestle with trying to have power control over the situation versus accessing the power of love. And it's just what it tells me. It's going to be very challenging. It's going to feel like you're stuck. And you can see her face is kind of red. It's almost like there's this, fury coming through. The frustration is so intense, right? So you're going to have to breathe. First of all, set intentions. Find those activities that center you. And then that will help you to see the situation differently and perhaps free you up from the attachment to this pattern, to liberate you to those higher frequencies where you can receive those solutions. Okay, and so we have here now the Three of Wands. And this card came up for me. Boy, I don't have a lot of time to talk about everything. But I learned so many things this month. And like I said, hopefully that's why I think I have to do the video, because so many things opened up. But I was, doing like a roommate search. And I got this card when I did the Celtic Cross spread. It was in the first position. And the deck was very different, and it's a deck I want to share with you because it's like a town, like an old town, of all these different people, kind of like a Little House on the Prairie, and it was a blacksmith for this card, and I didn't get it at first because in order for him to hammer the metal, he has to have that vision clearly in his head. He has the idea, maybe he's mapped it out, He's done it so many times that now he can just see it. But he can, but it's clear, the map of how to do this is in his mind's eye very clearly. And um, I went the whole month. I never take a whole month, and it was really starting to irritate me and frustrate me. And because I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And I was getting to the end of the month. I mean, just last weekend, this, what I'm about to tell you, unfolded. And so, long story short, they kept saying, um, to visualize and to, the things we've heard before, set clear intention and blah 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 blah. And you know what I said, me of all people? I mean, what does that really mean? Because was really being lazy, resisting doing the work, and never could really understand it. But in that moment, I finally got it when I saw that card, and I realized that. And so I just sat down and I realized that because the thing is that in my head I had an idea of what I was looking for, but I didn't write it down. And there's something about things in the mind, and then when you put them down or you journal them, you make it, it's almost like you draw the energies into a whole new plane. Okay, it brings it closer to the physical plane. Maybe that process takes it from the spiritual to the mental to the emotional, so that it can get to that place where the next step is physical manifestation. Because when I did it and I had a clear intention, I wrote, and then I wrote it as if I were in an interview, and asking those questions, which I didn't even have to do, but because I had now this clear checklist, the person who came the very next day was the one and literally checked off all the boxes. Um, and it was the first time I've ever seen that happen. And so this is what this card is really telling us. All right. You with this card, typically you see she's looking out and she's waiting for something to come in, and it might be actually coming in. And the things we can never tell in the original, whether it's going out or coming in, and it's always that ambiguity about this card. The thing that's coming to me is that all depends on the work you've done and how clear this is inside of your mind, body, and spirit and soul, because it could be coming in or it could be going out. And that depends on what you've done. And if it's going out, that means that you got to really define that even more. And if it's coming in, it's because you've done that. So in this week, don't resist. Don't let your emotions, overwhelm and take over, but really focus. Really focus, get clear every day, and you'll see that you'll feel empowered by love. All right, and they're writing the captain. You'll feel like the captain of your soul, or whatever that poem is. My neighbor back home is favorite poem, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. I'm the captain of my soul, or something like that. All right, so have a beautiful weekend, and God bless you. Have a beautiful week as well.